Alrighty, hello everyone. Is everything good to go? Alright, just making sure that the overnight stream elves didn't destroy anything here. So today we're going to be working on the multiplayer prototype that I've been building, and I'm starting to get very, very excited about it because finally, through a lot of the most challenging, I think, network issues, there are still some networking things that I need to figure out, but for the most part, I'm kind of free to build the gameplay systems now. So we've been working on just like basic combat and stuff, but today I want to really like get a game loop down, just very simple. You know, defeat all the enemies on the screen, and then have some sort of basic hook where a reward can be chosen. Probably won't get to the reward choosing today, but just put like a placeholder in the game where a reward choice would be present, and then move on to the next level. So set up that entire framework so that I can then build in the systems that I want inside of that framework. And the goal is to get like a playable prototype done within a relatively short period of time that captures at least the essence of what the game should feel like. And so yeah, that's what we're going to be working towards today. But before I get into that, I want to remind everyone that Gunforged is now available for purchase. So if you're interested, go to the Steam page. The link is down below. You can purchase it now. It's not on sale anymore, but I do have future sales scheduled. So if you want to purchase it at full price, by all means, I would be happy with that. But if you'd like, you can also wishlist it and be notified when it goes on sale again. And it's a great way to support me. It's a great way to support the channel and my work. Leave a review if you end up playing it. I've got 95% positive reviews, so that's great. So thank you, everyone. And yeah, thank you for making it a success. My first real commercial release, I think, can be called a success. So anyway, I also have Udemy courses available for sale if you want to learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine. Those are linked below as well. All right. Hello, Luca. Welcome back. Hello, Hori Portier. Welcome, welcome. Does Gunforged have the sales velocity you were expecting based on wish lists? So let me think. I think so. I think I had 9,500 wish lists, so just under 10,000 wish lists, and I think I have sold approximately 1,400 copies. So I think that's a pretty good conversion rate. What the interesting thing is, though, is that the wish list number has actually gone up since the release by quite a bit. So my indication for that is that, I mean, I'm sure that's probably a normal thing. People see a game that they like but are not ready to buy, so they add it to the wish list in case there are future updates or sales or anything. So to convert some of those wish lists, that's why I scheduled some sales over the next couple months. But yeah, I would say it's going very well. It certainly is going to extend my budget by at least a couple of months, which means that I am in a situation now where well, no, I won't even say that. I'm in a situation now where I can comfortably do this for the remainder of this year. So I basically have 10 months, well, we're almost done with this month. So I basically have 9 months to finish and publish my next game and to see how that can do. So that's plenty of time. I want to take less than 9 months to do that, but we will see. So anyway, that is how it's going. So thank you for asking. Hello, Polaris. I beat the Yummers. I guess I'm here on time. Yes, you did. Zilvertone. Snupbill, I'm sorry you got beat, but thank you again for the 10,000 IDR. It's very generous. And there's the Yummers here. Very good. Thank you, thank you. Always generous. Thank you, Aniki. I appreciate that. So, but, you know, obviously Gunforged did not sell well enough to like actually make a living off of it. So hopefully with this game, I can take everything that I've learned. I've got, I know how to remain focused. I know how to manage the scope. The only new thing that I'm adding really to this equation is multiplayer, which I think I have a pretty good handle on. A decent enough handle on where I can be productive with it. I'm not going to say I'm an expert on it yet, but so I'm feeling very optimistic, and I think I'm going to take a couple of different approaches this time. One thing that I want to do is I'm very strongly considering setting up a Discord server for the primary purpose of getting you all to play test early versions of the game. So I think it would be fun for me to host a lobby, and then since this game is going to be up to 4 players, host 3 other people in that game, and then just play it. And then we can have a conversation about how the game feels, what should change, what should be added, that kind of thing. So that's something I'm very strongly considering, but I want to get a playable prototype built first, play it with a couple of friends, and then we'll go from there. So make a social game like Night in the Woods or Undertale. Yeah, I think... So you're talking about something that has like, I don't know what Night in the Woods is, but Undertale is like a, I don't know, what would you say? Like a content creator kind of game? Is that what you're referring to? Or are you thinking of like a story-based game? Okay, so one thing that I want to mention is I've actually updated to Godot 4.4 RC2. So I'm just checking out what's new here. And for the most part, it seems great. I actually want to test out this property favoriting feature. Favorite property. Can I just favorite this whole section? No. Favorite position. Oh, that's so nice. Look at that. Does that... Oh, I don't like how it removes that from this section, though. I would rather it be duplicated rather than removed. Okay, well that's interesting. But position is a good one to have there. That's cool. So now that's pinned at the top. What other things? Like, obviously for the sprite... Yeah, that's cool. I'm not sure if I'll make super... I was excited about this feature, but I don't like how it removes this position from the transform section. I would much prefer it would duplicate it instead. Because if I'm already in the transform section and I'm modifying scale and rotation and stuff, and I want to change the transform position while I'm here, now I got to scroll all the way back up to change it. Which kind of defeats... I mean, it's kind of self-defeating in a certain way, but that's all right. We'll leave it favorited there for now. That's pretty cool. All right, what else? Can I favorite, like... Oh, I can favorite my own export variables? Wait a minute. So could I favorite this? Oh, sweet. Oh, pin value. Forces it to be saved even if it's equal to the default. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. The other thing that is new about Godot 4.4 is that you get these new game controls, which you can embed it. So I can say, oh wait, can I do this? So if I do embed game on next play, and I go to game here, what that's going to do is that's going to embed it into this window here. And I can do this, and then I can grab the camera. How do I move the camera? Oh, wait. Okay, interesting. I don't know how all this works. Input. Allow game input. Disable game input and allow to select 2D nodes. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. What is this? Toggle selection visibility. Manipulate in-game, manipulate from editors. I don't know how to get this camera to work. Oh, there we go. Oh, it wasn't working the first time. Okay, cool. So now I can freely move the camera. That's great. That's very handy. What is this? Embedded game size is based on project settings. Keep aspect ratio. Embed game structure. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That's very nice. So you have a bunch of different scaling options here. Okay. Sweet. So we'll do that. And then if I put input back, I can... Okay, so I basically need to... If I want to move the camera, I have to disable this input. Then I can pause the game. Can I select things now? Let's see. Oops. Select 2D. For some reason, selecting... Oh, there we go. Yeah, we selected this guy here. Can I move him around? Let's see. Let's move you up, sir. Free you from your prison here. And if I run it... Oh, he's not going to work, huh? Oh, did I just... I may have just moved the sprite, not the entire object. Okay. So let's see what else we got. That's very interesting. So the one thing I want to try is if I make this window floating and I run it, it will create this floating window with the same controls, which is nice in and of itself, but I don't think I want that for multiplayer purposes because it's taking up extra space. So I wonder if I just uncheck that and I run it. Is that just going to do the raw window again? Perfect. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. Cool. So for anyone that's using Godot 4.4, you can just go to your, there's a new game tab up here, and you can just uncheck this embed game on next play, and that will restore the pre-Godot 4.4, what you call it? The pre-Godot 4.4 behavior. Reload current project, no. What am I doing? So I'm going to customize run instances, put multiple run instances back, and what that should do is that should put me back where I've got two windows. Oh, uh-oh. Input. Okay, so these settings take effect even on a floating window. So I need to make sure input is selected there. Okay, there's a little bit of wonkiness going on here, but I'm sure that feature will be improved a little bit, or I just need to learn how to use it. So anyway, we're back to what was typical before Godot 4.4. Otherwise, the upgrade went fine. This is not a very big project, so I haven't noticed any issues with like the UID upgrades or anything, so that's good. And yeah, the only thing so far that the only problem I had so far with the UID upgrade is that they were cluttering up my VS Code file system here. But what I did is I just added this UID exclude pattern to VS Code, and so now they're being excluded from this list here. So yeah, I just don't like, one of the reasons why I keep my scenes and my scripts here separate is because when I'm working on C# code, it's nice to just be able to bounce around to all the different scripts here without having to scan through a bunch of different files. Like these are just all scripts, you know, like it's just monolithic scripts here. Makes it a little bit easier to navigate in the IDE. Not that I really use that. I mean, I almost always use the quick go-to. So, but anyway, that is enough exploration of the new stuff for now. So yeah, let's see. What am I doing? I'm gonna actually change this. This shape. Make it smaller. I noticed this change too. They made floats always show a decimal now, which I understand why they did that, but it definitely looked a lot cleaner in pixel-based games because I'm always going to use whole integers here. And so having that 0.0 is just a little bit noisy, but it's all right. That's all right. I wonder if is that a setting that can be changed? Let's see. I don't know how riveting this is, but I figured maybe I'll just work through the some of the settings here and just see. Maybe you all have the same questions about these things. Actually, I wonder if there's a I wonder if there's a note about it in the blog. Yeah, so in here, in the original beta 1 blog post, floats converted to strings now display as decimal by default, even for whole numbers. I wonder if there's a setting for that. I'm assuming this applies to the editor as well. Okay. Default float step, that's not it. Yeah, if it would be in here, I think it would be in the inspector. Float drag speed. Yeah, it would be really nice to have the option to make that print as a whole number. Because it just, yeah, for pixel games, it's like I'm never using decimal values. So anyway. That's awesome. Yeah, it is awesome. Hello, Chico. Do you have a Discord group I can join? Not yet, but keep an eye on this channel. When Googly Eyes will be in the game. Yeah, I'm going to do all that kind of stuff. I still have to figure out exactly how I want character customization to work. I think what I'm going to do is like, so in typical RPGs, you know, you have like, oh, maybe it's not typical, but sometimes you have different characters for the different classes, right? But I think I'm going to just make it so that you can create your own little character with whatever face and mouth and whatnot you want. And then the class will just basically determine what abilities you can get during the run. Hello, Damien. As odd as this might sound, your room looks darker today than it does normally. Yeah, that's because it's dark and rainy outside. So I'm not getting as much natural light, and I don't have like I should probably get like one of those streamer lights, you know, and put it up here somewhere, but I don't have one. So yeah, not as much natural light coming in. Hello, Dusty, welcome back. Great to see you. Been enjoying the puzzle game course, learned a few C# Godot concepts that will carry on over to my game. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Paul. I also like, can we make in the title of the stream adds tension? Yeah. That's string formatting you are searching. Is there a setting in it? Editor settings. Oh well. Oh well. I'll worry about it later. I'll worry about it later. Let's actually get into some work here. Now that I've briefly explored some of the 4.4 stuff. So the game loop, let's take a look at what we got going on here. Yeah, I mean, I know how string formatting works. I'm talking about the values in the editor and how they're displayed there. If I wanted to print a whole number, I know how I could do that. Sweet. So there's this guy spawning outside. So we're going to update the entity spawner, but we need to be able to know when that is done. So we've got, let's see, let's go to main. I like this new menu too. This is nice. It's got fuzzy search now, which I think is new. So that's going to be super helpful. So we got an entity spawner component. This is just spawning an enemy in a random spot. Synchronize spawned enemies. Okay, so what's going on in here? We're just choosing a random spawn position here. So what I want to do is I want to get a random navigation position probably. So let me think of how I want to do this. So the way that you get a random position in the navigation map is you do navigation server 2D dot map get random point, and then you can do your map RID. So the way to do it would be to do var maps is equal to navigation server 2D dot get maps. That's going to return an array of resource IDs. I think that's what RID stands for. So we're going to do maps 0. Obviously this is not safe if you have empty. We're going to do 1 shifted over 0, which is just layer 1. I like to just, even though the value is 1, I like to just explicitly make sure that the code indicates this is a bitwise value. Uniformly true. So this is how you get a random point. And so I'm going to create an extension method for this. Where would I put that? Network extensions, let's just do new file, node extensions. Actually, maybe it shouldn't even be an extension. Let's just do util. I'm just gonna call it game utils for now. Public static class game utils, public static vector2 get random navigation point. Return point, and we got to put this in our numerics. No, namespace game.util using Godot. Okay, perfect. So now in here I can say spawn position is equal to game utils dot get random navigation point. Now I probably want to do some kind of, I don't think I want to throw an error in here. What I'll do instead is I'll say if maps.count is equal to 0, gd.push warning, no navigation map for and then we'll just return vector2.0. I could throw an error there, but I don't think it's necessary. All right, sweet. So, and I may, if I have different navigation maps, I may need to extend that in the future, but we only have one navigation layer right now, so no need to worry about that. Okay, so now all the enemies should be spawning within the bounds. So that was probably the most important thing. So now we've got in our main here, when we've detected that all of the enemies have died, which I actually don't like that wording, finished event handler. So I want to actually break this down into a couple of, well, no, I don't think I should do that. I think I should just probably say, I mean, here's the other thing. The entity spawner is keeping track of the enemies that die as well. And I don't think that that's necessarily appropriate. I'm trying to figure out to what extent I want to fragment this main here. So main is basically just serving as the room and should be coordinating between the entity spawner component and probably a bunch of other things. I think it's fine to keep the entity spawner component as keeping track of the enemy deaths. I think that's fine. Because what I'm going to want to do when I spawn an enemy is eventually I'm going to have stats and whatnot that enemies can be spawned with. So like increased health, right? So what I'll probably do is... Where is my enemy spawn? Yeah, on timer timeout. So I'm actually going to do this. Private void spawn enemy. So we'll do spawn enemy here. This timer is just always running. Main, oops, entity spawner component. This is a 3-second timer. Let's bump that down to 2 for now. Auto start. So yeah. So let's rename this to spawn timer just to be more explicit here. All right, so there's our spawn timer. And so the spawn timer, let's not turn on auto start. I'm gonna want to control that later. So I might actually introduce some control here. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do public void begin, and that's gonna cause the spawn timer dot start. Cool. So on timer timeout, spawn enemy. Okay, and then in here, if enemies to spawn is equal to 0, spawn timer dot stop. Actually, you know what? I think I would prefer to just make this a one-shot timer. And then change this to start. Okay. So that's just a minor change, but basically we're going to have the main now. The main is going to be the one that is going to tell the entity spawner component to begin. So the entity spawner component, so main is now going to have the responsibility of basically making sure that all the players are ready before beginning the wave or the enemies. But for now, I'm just going to do entity spawner component dot begin. Okay. So yeah, in this block is where I would probably inject all the stats that I wanted the enemy to have. So I can grab the health component and then change the health component's health before adding it to the world. Okay, so that's that. Now, when we have this entity spawner finished here, we're going to need some kind of way of knowing when all the players are ready. Let me just see if that works first. I'm sure it'll work, but I notice you don't really use interfaces in your code up to my current point in the course anyway. Is there a particular reason for that? I don't use interfaces mostly because a lot of the inheritance is coming from Godot classes. Like, there's not a whole lot of opportunities for, at least when I'm making my games, there's not a whole lot of opportunities for making proper use of interfaces. I find myself much more often using abstract classes than interfaces in Godot. So I'm doing a lot of either inheriting from Godot nodes or writing my own abstract class that I then either put default functionality in or override. So yeah, I haven't really found many use cases for having an interface, at least in the types of games that I'm making, so yeah. Random question, do you plan on update your first Udemy course from 3 years ago and how it's going to work in Godot 4 and so forth? I do want to, yeah. I just need to find the time to do it. But yeah, I think as far as my courses go, I think the next project I want to do is update the platformer course to be brand new with Godot 4 stuff, and then update the Vampire Survivors course, or the Survivors Light course, to account for all the new tile map changes. But I just need the time to do it. I don't have time. Hello, Rupin. Welcome back. Okay, so let's see if all those things work. So you can see that the enemies are now spawning at random positions in the navigation map. We're obviously going to need a spawn, some sort of spawn animation. The other thing I added last night is I added input buffering. So it makes the attacks feel a lot better. Basically, if you give another attack input within, I think, like 1/6 of a second before it's ready, the player's ready to receive the attack input, it buffers that input and automatically plays it for you. So it feels a lot smoother. I'm sure most of you, or if not all of you, are familiar with the concept of input buffering, so I'm not going to go too deep on it, but the tricky thing was making that work with like the sort of rollback, which wasn't tricky, it's just, you know, a different approach than usual. Okay, so now let's go ahead and I'm just going to commit this. Or nah, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spawn a sort of end reward. So room reward. I guess we'll call it a room reward. Scenes, game object. Let's do, I guess I'll just call it environment. I don't know, that doesn't sound right. What do I want to call it? Whatever, environment. No. Whatever, environment it is. Room reward. Okay, and you know what I'm gonna do? Let's do something fun. I'm just gonna draw up something really quick. So new 32 by 32. We're gonna have to say goodbye to the Gunforged palette. Load palette. Open this up. Save palette as default. Oh, okay, there's the Gunforged palette is gone. And now we're back, or now we're onto this game's palette. Okay, so what I want to do is let's just create, I'm going to do something really basic here. is it possible to do an outline width here? Yeah, see, that doesn't sound right or seem right. Is that right? That's not quite the style of outline that I'm doing, I don't think. Or is it? No, maybe it's fine. Okay. Maybe it's fine. I don't really know what I'm doing. That'll work. That'll work. Okay, so there's our little very basic. This will be like our little upgrade orb. Again, this is not, it's not final. I'm just messing around. I'm just doing something fun, that's all. That's all. Okay. Assets, environment, room, reward.png. Okay, add child node, sprite 2D, room reward, kerblam. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This would be an amazing Godot feature if I could somehow go into the project settings and define defaults for every node type that I create. Because I almost always turn off this centered offset here. And so being able to go into like the project settings and go to like define what the Sprite 2D's default values are, so that whenever I add one through the editor, it has those defaults. Oh, that would be so nice. Or like, you know, like if I add a collision shape 2D, just have it always pre-configured with a certain shape. Anyway. In Gunforged, the drag and drop, did you use the controls get drag data with a preview and get drop data? So I actually kind of ended up building my own drag and drop system that was basically based on Godot's drag and drop system, but I didn't end up using their actual drop stuff because it didn't work with controller. Also, in Godot 4.3, there was no way to cancel a drag operation, like invoke a cancel of the drag operation, which means that I couldn't do something like press escape to cancel the drag. So I am using the get drag data to detect when a mouse drag happens, but then I'm injecting sort of my own functionality into that and not actually returning any data from that, so that Godot doesn't like start its own drag and drop operation, if that makes sense. And if so, can a drag control only be dropped on its same type? Yeah, you have to write logic for that. So basically, I just created like a way of getting what the currently dragging data is through my own system. And then based on the type of that data that's being dragged, I can say, okay, these elements can accept it and these can't. Is that your balls? No. No. Okay, so room award, let's do this. Animation, player. So actually, I'm gonna move this up. Animation player, new, default, auto. These are new. Cool. So animation player. I'm just trying to make this look a little bit nice for placeholder purposes. Oh, see, positions up here. Cool. Why is this not snapping? Is it snapping? No, why is it not snapping? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh my gosh. Might be too high. Okay. Let's add a center position marker here. I don't know if this is actually the center, but it'll be fine. Node private marker 2D center position. Got a resource preloader, room reward, boom. Might as well add a script to this. Scripts, game object, create new folder, environment. C#. Do I not have my template? Hold on a second. I need my template script. Why is it not showing up here? Template empty. Oh, it's unchecked. Oh, I see. Actually, while I'm in here though, oops. I don't know why it adds 2 new lines at the end. That's very annoying. Anyway, I was trying to fix that, but whatever. So game.gameObject.environment. So there's my room reward. And then in here, on entity spawner finished, we'll probably want to add some animations here, but var room reward is equal to resource preloader dot instance scene or null room reward add child room reward. Actually, this should be entities dot add child, and then room reward dot global position is equal to center position dot global position. Cool. So after we kill all those enemies, that should spawn. And then we need to be able to interact with it. So probably will... Let's just build another interaction area component, I think. Why not? Make it a type of area 2D. Interaction area component. Rename this interaction area component. We're going to change this collision here. Should I favorite these? Favorite, favorite. Nice. Okay, so we've got, this is terrain, so I should edit layer names. Terrain here. These are going to be like enemy related things. So what I might do is, I guess I'll do player related stuff in this sort of block over here. So edit layer names, let's just do layer 18 as player interaction. And we want this to be mask. Yeah. So there's the interaction area component. I'm trying to think if I should make this... it's fine. Before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and add an area 2D to the player here. And this is gonna be interaction area. Add child node collision shape 2D. New circle shape 2D. This doesn't need to be that big. I'm just gonna kind of do it like that. And this interaction area is going to be on the player interaction, layer. Okay, and that's a mask. Cool. So now scripts, and actually I don't want that interaction area to be present on the other clients. So what I might do is I might just do... How do I want to do that? I think what I could do, I'll just do something easy. Set authority peer ID. If peer ID is not equal to multiplayer manager dot instance dot multiplayer ID, then we're going to take that area 2D, that interaction area, and we're going to set that layer, interaction area dot collision layer. We'll just set it to 0. So we'll just disable the collision for any client player or any player that is not the currently owned player, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's going to work. And then in an interaction area component here, let's go ahead and add a script. Game.component. Keep that, I suppose. Area entered plus equals on area entered. Private void on area entered. Other area 2D. Other area. And we'll just create a private bool is entered. Area exited plus equals on area exited. Okay, so we've got a basic interaction area component here. Why do you make sprites uncentered? I think the reason is because if you have a sprite that is not evenly divisible by 2, especially for low resolution pixel games, you could end up with a sub-pixel problem that kind of messes up the rendering. So I prefer to change the offset myself in those cases. So it's just a habit that I've gotten into to avoid that problem. Because it's fine in most cases, but then, you know, every so often you get a sprite that can't be centered for a pixel game, and that causes problems. It wouldn't be a problem in this game though, but I guess that's just a habit that I got into. Just a habit. So now what I need to do is I need to be able to engage in some upgrades here. I still don't really know how I want the upgrade flow to work, but let's do this. Let's just make sure we can get this working. So if I do globals, no, input map, interact, add, E, okay, public override void, unhandled input, EVT, if EVT dot is action pressed, action interact, and I guess we could just do if is entered. Then we're going to do get viewport dot set input as handled, and we're going to need to do something else, but I'm just going to go ahead and print hello. Okay, so now we can go to the room reward here, interaction area component, and I'm going to go ahead and add a collision shape 2D here. New circle shape. Let's make it rather large. And we'll just move this up like there. Okay. So, if I did everything correctly, what we should see is that when I kill all the enemies, that room reward should spawn. I should be able to walk up to it, press E, and I'll get a hello printed. So let's see if that works. Host, join. I want to make sure it works on both clients as well. No, don't hurt my friend. Oh, you know what? I don't think that room reward is going to be RPC'd. Yeah, it's not. Okay. But anyway, if I press E, you can see I've got hello being printed down there. If I press E outside, it doesn't do anything. So it's working on the server. I just didn't RPC it over to the clients. So that's going to be the main thing to do here. So private void create room reward. Obviously, all of this is going to have to change as I start actually adding the ability to have rewards, but multiplayer API.rpc mode.authority call local is equal to true. Oh, this needs to be reliable as well. This needs to be reliable. Cool. So create room reward, we're going to paste that in there. RPC method name dot create room reward. And yeah, I'll need to be able to push to all the clients what rewards are available to each of them. That's going to require some thinking to do, but I don't even know which rewards I'm going to have yet. We're going to see if we can get some kind of system like that in place, but I think what I need first is I need some kind of like, I probably need to implement a health and stamina system for the players so I can get some basic rewards in place. I need to create multiple weapons too, and figure out how that's going to work. So basically I need to get like some kind of passive selection or skill tree selection going. Yeah, I really like the idea. So you know how in games, like it's very common in games, I mean Gunforged did this right now, like roguelike games where you finish a room and you get 3 options, right? And you choose one of your passives, right? I think I could either do that, where it's like choose 3 passives again, but I don't want to do that again because I already did that in Gunforged. I think what I'm going to do is, based on which class you choose, there's going to be a skill tree, but every run the skill tree is going to be randomized, so that you don't know like ahead of time which path is optimal. I think that would be really interesting. Now the problem with that though is that I could see it being the case where the problem is that if you can see the skill tree ahead of time and you start the game, players may say, oh, I don't like this skill tree, so I'm just going to abandon this run and restart until I get a good skill tree. So I think what I'd probably need to do is I could randomize the skill tree, but hide the options until you get to them, if that makes sense. And then I could offer respecking as well, so that later on in the run, if you took a path you don't like, you can respec it. But I don't know if that's gonna... Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know, lots of thinking to do. I mean, part of me is like, you should just stick with the 3 options after each wave, because that's like what every game is doing right now, and it's like obviously working. But I do like the idea of having like a randomized skill tree to some extent. I don't know, man. I don't know. Gonna have to do some more thinking about that, I suppose. But let's just see if we can get this room reward RPCing now. Just got a GD extension Hello World set up. Time to dig in some fun new tooling. Awesome. NetFox GD extension when? Okay. Join. Boom. There's the reward. So hello is being printed by that client. Hello is being printed by that client. And yeah, perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that's a little reward globe here. Now we actually have to figure out what rewards are going to go in there. I think what I'll do for now is I will just make it so that when both players press on or interact with it, then the next wave will start. And I think what I want to do though is I'm going to borrow what other games do and basically have it so that like 2 doors will spawn. So it'll be your reward. Once both players have chosen their reward, there will be some doors that spawn, and then you can vote on which door to go through. Look at the orb. So like you choose your rewards and then boom, some doors spawn on either side. And then those doors will be like, okay, the reward in this room is going to be X amount of things. But then there could also be enemy modifiers as well, like enemies have 50% increased health or something. I initially wanted to do like like a world map overview that you could navigate through, but I think that's going to be too much work. Like I really like how the Path of Exile 2 atlas looks with all the nodes that are interconnected. I thought it'd be fun to do something like that in this game, but I don't know. I think it'd just be simpler to just offer 2 options and then all the players can vote on which options to go through. Lots of thinking to do, but let's get this working. Let's just get the loop working first, and then I can build all that stuff into it later. I need to start getting some like equipment and whatnot in the game before I really flesh out the reward system, and also abilities. I need to get player abilities going. I want to make abilities tied to your weapons that you have. I kind of like that, because then I think there could be some interesting, like if you wanted to be, let's say like the short sword had just like some kind of, I don't know, flurry attack or whatever. It would be interesting if you were like a wizard and you found a short sword that's scaled with intelligence and had like fire damage on it. You know what I mean? And so I just want to make it so that like anyone can use any weapon. Weapons will scale based on certain attributes. And then the skill trees are just designed to just generally enhance like certain types of damage and whatnot. But yeah, the other problem is I need to make sure not to go overboard with the scope, you know what I mean? Gotta make sure not to go overboard with the scope. Okay, so basic room reward orb spawning. Possibly have upgrade types be fully shown and specifics shown as you go, i.e. red borders for offensive, blue for defensive, so you can still partially plan. Oh, yeah. For the skill tree. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, that is an interesting idea. Sphere grid will forever be my favorite skill tree. Also morning, I was lurking before. Welcome back, Christopher. Sphere grid, huh? I'm gonna have to look into that. Let's talk about remove the yellow ball of room. The more you feed the scope creep, the larger and hungrier it gets, yeah. Like, there are a lot of cool things that I want to do, but I kind of have to just, like, remain very focused on, like, what actually is going to make a difference in the game. Final Fantasy X, is that what that is? Okay, I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break here and go get a refill on my drink, as I usually do. But when I come back, the thing to tackle here is going to be to detect when both players have used the reward screen or the reward object, which is not offering any rewards at the moment. Detect when both players are ready, and then like basically just restart the entity spawning. I think that will basically close that loop. It's a very, very basic loop until I at least get room selection in place and whatnot. So yeah, I think that's going to be the next step here. So while I'm on my 2-minute break, you can check out the links in the description below. Gunforged is available for sale, so that's a great way to support my work, and it's a great way to have a fun game to play. But also, I have Udemy courses available for sale. Those are also linked in the description below. So please check out all those things, and I'll be right back in just 2 minutes, and then we will continue on with building this game loop. I'm back. So this is actually going to be a very major part of the game, is making sure that all the players are ready before continuing. So I'm glad that I'm going to kind of set this up early. Obviously, it's not going to be super sophisticated, but you know, this is you got to build things one at a time, you know. So here's the deal. So here's the deal, though. Yeah. So here's the deal. What am I going to? How am I going to keep track of this? I mean, obviously, you know. Well, there's a couple of considerations actually. So the nature of multiplayer games is that players can drop in and out. Mostly they're probably going to be dropping out because of connection issues, right? And so you don't want to end up in a situation where the players in the game are soft locked because one player dropped and they can't complete a vote or something, right? So that's a major consideration that needs to be made. So, but then the other consideration is like, where do I actually want to keep track of this information? So essentially what needs to happen is this room reward here, this needs to... So first of all, let's do this. In the room reward object, I'm actually going to do this. Node private interaction area component, interaction area component. We want to get this interaction area component. We want to get this print out of here. And we want to actually do a signal in here. Public delegate void interacted event handler, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and emit signal name interacted. So that way we can hook into that in here. So public override void ready interaction area component dot interacted plus equals on interacted. So this is where we're going to want to interacted. Listen for that. So since we're creating that room reward in here, right, I think we could probably add a signal on the room reward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to more easily segment or separate this sort of functionality. I'm going to create a room reward component. Yes, I love making components. What of it? Room reward component. And we're going to put that in there. Save. So let's add a resource preloader here. Drag the room reward in there. Let's get rid of it from here. Oops, I deleted the player on accident. There we go. Okay, let's create a script. Okay, so we're going to take this. Node private resource preloader. Resource preloader. Okay, so create room reward. I think what I'm going to do is I might... Let's create a public method here, public void show rewards or spawn rewards or something. I don't really know, but in here we're going to take this, paste it there. On entity spawner finished. Let's grab a reference to that private room reward component. Room reward component dot show rewards. So that will happen in there. And so in here, what we can do is we can maintain I'm thinking like a hash set of int ready peers, private hash set. That should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. This is only going to be on the server, but that's all right. So there's a problem here though, which is that I need to be able to get the room here. So I'm actually just going to do this. Private main owner, public override void ready. Owner is equal to owner as main. I'm going to probably rename this to room at some point, but that point is not now. Let's create a public vector2 center position at global position. So now this can become owner.center position. And then let's expose that entities layer to public. I can probably just make that a public. It might be a little bit nicer. Get private set. And we can do owner. Okay. So basically I've just shuffled everything around. It should basically just work the same. But now what we need to do is this room reward here. This needs to be listened for interaction. So basically what I need to do now is room reward dot, let's create a signal in here. Signal public delegate void selection finished event handler. Emit signal name dot selection finished. And then this room reward component, we're going to do selection finished plus equals on reward selection finished. Private void on reward selection finished. And what I'm going to do is RPC ID multiplayer manager dot server peer ID. So I'm going to let the server know that I'm finished. So private void notify peer reward selection finished. And we'll just go ahead and zoop this. Okay, I wish there was a shorthand for this because I'm going to be using this a lot, but that's all right. On reward selection finished, so we're going to RPC to the multiplayer or to the server, the method name notify peer reward selection finished. So we're sending that to the server. Var from peer is equal to what you call it. Multiplayer API dot get remote sender ID. There we go. So we got the multiplayer get remote sender ID. So that's the peer that's telling us that we're ready. And we're going to go ahead and add that to the ready peers. So ready peers dot add from peer. And then we'll go ahead and add a check in here. Private void check all players ready. I should probably be consistent with my naming here. Check all peers ready. Okay, so this is going to check var all peers ready is equal to multiplayer manager dot get all peer IDs dot all x ready peers dot contains x. So we're going to get all of the peers. We're going to make sure that all of them are inside of that ready peers hash set. Now, the other thing that we need to do now is detect when a client is disconnected. So there are in NetFox there are network events, which I don't know if I should be using these or I probably should. Where is it? Where is it? Kinds. Oh, network events. Here we go. NetFox Sharp network events, I think, is what I need to use. So they're not really enumerated in there, but if I do NetFox Sharp dot network events dot on client stop. See, I don't know what on client stop means. Let me go into NetFox network events on client stop. I think these are documented in here. Admitted when the client stops. This can happen either due to the client itself or the server disconnecting for whatever reason. Admitted when the client starts, admitted when the server stops. On peer leave, maybe I want that one. On peer leave. Okay, that's probably what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do on dot connect network events dot signal name dot on peer leave. Callable dot from on peer leave. Is this a long or an int? Don't remember. But anyway, private void on peer leave. Now the question is this going to be emitted on all peers? I think so. I should probably make sure that that's... No, it's a long. Okay, so I'll make it a long. I'm not sure if it matters, but we'll be consistent. Okay, so we're going to connect that on peer leave. And this is just going to handle that problem if somebody drops. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to do check all peers ready again, which is going to rerun this all peers ready check in here. If all peers ready, trying to think of what I want to do exactly in here. If all peers ready, the room reward component. I think what I need to do in here is I probably should this should be the end of my responsibility here. I think what should happen in here is that I should just have a signal. Public delegate void all peers ready event handler. Emit signal name all peers ready. So then in my main here, what I can do is I can connect to this room reward component dot all peers ready plus equals on all peers reward I don't really like that, but that's fine. I have avoid on all peers reward chosen. So now in here, what I can do is I can... This entity spawner component. Trying to think. Do I want to, how do I want to get rid of that room reward component? On all, check all peers ready. So it's creating this room reward. What I'll probably do for now is in this on interacted here, I'm just going to queue free this for now and then notify that selection finished. Okay, well, let's see if it works. On all peers reward chosen. This is not necessarily something that I want to happen here, but I'm just going to restart that entity spawner component. So .begin. And like I said, this is just all setting up the framework, the flow of information and events through the system. And then I can build into that framework later on. So let's go ahead and kill all these guys. And then I can also test that dropping from the game will make the game proceed for anyone that's ready. Don't hurt my friend. Okay, there's a reward. Boom, I used it on this end. It's gone. So I've already chosen my reward. And then this guy over here, boom. And now, are the enemies going to begin again? They did not. Oh, right. I think I need to reset enemies killed to 0 as well. This is not how this is going to work. I'm imagining that a new room is going to be created after every time. So it actually isn't going to need to reset any of the state because it's all going to be reset by the nature of the room being changed. Okay, use that on this one, use that on that one. Okay, it's not working. Oh, that's why. This needs to be called from any peer. This notify reward selection finished. So basically, if I'm a client, I need to be able to tell the server, hey, I'm ready, you know. Don't hurt my friend. Can't change this state while flushing queries. Okay. Boom. All right, spawn some more enemies. Yes. All right, so the loop, it seems to be working. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if disconnecting from the client will start up the game. It should. I'm fairly certain that's going to work. Okay, so if I ready up on the server here, boom, and then I close this guy. Oh! Yeah, I forgot. One thing I forgot to do. Again, this is all just because of, yeah, this is because this is not being cleared, this ready peers here. So let's just do this. Also, I don't know what's with that flushing queries thing. Probably related to... Anyway, so if I take the server guy here and I use that and then I close this guy, boom. Nice. So I'm never actually deleting the player though when they disconnect. So that's going to be something that I need to address, but you can see that the game has proceeded now even though the other player never readied up. Nice. Okay. We are getting there slowly but surely. So we've got a basic loop in place. It's looking good. What is this now? So this create room reward. Show rewards. On entity spawner finished. Yeah, so that's happening inside of the... I think what's happening is, let's see. This all is being handled inside of this on area entered here. I'm really wondering if I should just do this in a deferred fashion always. So instead of doing this, I can do connect signal name dot area entered callable dot from area 2D on area entered uint connect flags dot deferred. So instead of hooking into that sort of like physics process, I guess it would be, I'm just going to handle that collision in a deferred fashion, so outside of the physics. So any changes that I make to the tree as a result of this are going to be safe. I don't think I need to react immediately to the hit. I think as long as I'm doing it in a deferred fashion, it's going to be just fine. So let's try that instead. I think that's going to clear up that error. And that's just generally going to prevent errors of that type from ever happening again, because all of those signals are going to be handled after that physics loop, I guess. Cool. No more errors. All right, this is looking good. Looking great. Okay, I'm going to choose a reward. Uh-oh, never mind. I crashed. Alrighty. So I think what I'll do is I'll handle the deletion of those players as well. But first, basic loop in place. I'm Was that not creating? I want to see if that was creating UIDs. Oh yeah, it's creating a UID for any new scripts. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So main here. I'm gonna do this. Public long controlled by peer ID. Get private set. Controlled by peer ID equals peer ID. That's being added to the player group. So what I'm going to do in here is netfox sharp dot network events dot connect network events dot signal name dot on peer leave, callable up from long on peer leave, private void on peer leave. Actually, this needs to happen for everyone. On peer leave, long peer ID, var peer player is equal to this dot get nodes in get tree, get nodes in group player dot first get nodes in group dot first or default x dot controlled by peer ID is equal to peer ID. Peer player dot queue free. Let's try it with multiple instances. Project, customize run instances. Bam. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. Always happy to have you here. Host, join. Oh. Cannot access a disposed object. Oh, that's a signal error. Network time dot connect. Network time dot signal name dot before tick loop. Callable dot from on before tick loop. Got to be careful with those things. Okay, so host, join. For some reason, it gets super like laggy when I join with multiple players, but let's do this. Close, that should disappear that guy. Sweet. Disappear that guy. Awesome. Okay, the loop is getting there. We're getting into a good spot. Okay. So I'm kind of in a situation where I can start working towards the reward system, but that's going to require me to build some more complicated systems here. So let's see, delete player on disconnect. So we'll commit that, but I think before I can start really on a reward system, I need to be able to... So I need a system for player abilities, which are attached to weapons. I need a system of weapon stats, weapon randomization. I need health for the players. I'm going to use a resource called energy, which is going to be both, like, it's just, energy is going to be what you use for attacks. It's going to be your attack resource. So think of it as like stamina and mana combined. So, you know, if you swing your sword, that's going to take some amount of energy. If you cast a spell, that's going to take some amount of energy. I'm trying to simplify it. I don't want to maintain like stamina and mana and health. And I think for dashing, I think every class is going to have a dash ability, and I think what I might do is just make that free to use, but have a cooldown of some kind. There's a couple ways to do it, right? You could do the Dark Souls way, where it's like as long as you have stamina, you can roll, or you could do it the cooldown way, which some action RPGs do, or you could do it like the charges way, which is like what happens in Gunforged and other games where you can like store up to X amount of dash charges. Or there's another option, which is I could just make you able to dash whenever you want. And maybe, you know, there could be some kind of penalty where like maybe dashing doesn't consume energy, but it prevents, like, energy won't regenerate while you're dashing or something. I don't know. I have to think about that some more, but what I want to do is I'm going to start working on maybe just sketching out some player UI for the health and stamina. I think that would be fun. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's create a new scene, canvas layer. I'm going to call this player UI. Okay. Margin container, mouse. I'm going to definitely favorite the mouse filter property. Okay, margin container. Now the UI is going to be relatively small, actually. I'm trying to figure out how I want this to work. Definitely want the container sizing. So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna sketch this out. This is not super. Not super sophisticated here. So I got a health bar and an energy bar. We're going to change the theme override separation to 0. What I want to do actually is I want to add a child node here. I'm having a difficult time imagining how I want this to be. I think what I need to do is Another margin container. Add a color rectangle behind it. Oops. Oh, that's not going to work. I'll clean this up later. Okay, so this health bar and energy bar here. Make this unique. Make that unique. Okay. So the style box flat, border width. Wait a minute. No, the fill here is what I want. Border width. What has happened? Where did my bar go? Oh, there we go. There we go. Again, this is just a sketch, really. I'm just trying to figure out what I want this to look like. This doesn't seem right to me. Ideally, these would be the same width. Oh, it is the same width. Now for these bars, these are, I think what's throwing me off here is this actually needs to have a -4 separation. There we go. There we go. Cool. I have no clue what that's going to look like in game, but let's see. Don't need 3 instances anymore. Oh, wow, that's super small. That's super small. So like I said, my UI is a little bit, well, the resolution I'm working with is higher so that I can show more information on the UI, but then it becomes really hard to judge how big everything is. So it looks like I need to make this stuff bigger. So multiply everything out by 2. Okay. Health bar. Energy bar. Cool. V-box container. -8, this margin container here. That's still going to be too small, probably. Let's see. Okay, that's better. Yeah. Obviously, like, this is subject to change, but just getting something basic in place first, where I can show that stuff. I would like to be able to, let me commit this, or not commit, but stage. I would like to be able to get rid of this section here. So I think what that means is I have to wrap. What does that mean? I think it means that I have to wrap. It's like I need to do this. I need to wrap these margin container. Add child node. Well, let's take this color rect. Yeah, something like that. But then this VBox container needs to be what, -12? Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Trying to get this so that it's, well, why is that full? This shouldn't be full anyway. Oh, hold on. There we go. I'm making a mess of this. Basically, I want these dark regions to be touching, but then the outline to be... I think I might just have to make this a texture. That'd probably be easier. Or, actually, maybe I'm overthinking this even more. Maybe I'm overthinking this even more than I thought. If I do a border... here. Hello? Where'd my border go? Here's the border color. If I do a border like that, then the fill border needs to go up to 16. But that means that the size here needs to become what? 32? 36, 40, 8. Yeah, so all these should be 8. Okay, that's what I wanted to do, I think. So this now needs to become 40 as well. And then this border here. Okay. And then I should be able to do this VBox container. Oh no, it still doesn't work. Wait a minute. Gee dang it. Oh. So I'll need to make this unique. And maybe just give it no border top. No, not on that one. On this one. What in the heck is going on? Why doesn't this work? I said no border top. Why is it still white? Why are you still white? Oh, there we go. And then for the fill, 8. Okay, that took way too long. Oh wait, is that still wrong? Maybe I do need to do this for the... Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, I did it. All right, so this should all be 8 here. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Okay. Why is this so chunky now, though? I guess that's right. Is it right? 16... I guess because they share a border that just looks a little bit weird, but okay, well, that was way too much time spent on that, but hey. We'll see, actually. Debug, customize run instances, turn that back down to 2. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, all right, so we got some basic player resource UI. Obviously, that's going to change, but that gives me something to work with now. Probably will end up moving it somewhere else. I don't know, maybe to the bottom of the screen or something, but keep it there for now. So we've got energy and health, and then I'll have to set up some kind of way of utilizing that information for the attacks and whatnot. So yeah, lots of work to do still, lots of work to do on the prototype, but all these things need to be built at some point, you know? So I'm basically just getting this stuff in place that I know I'm going to need. So the reason I'm setting up this resource UI is so that I can then go in and implement energy and health for the players. And that's going to have to be synchronized and rollback enabled and all that stuff for the client-side prediction. And then, what? And then what? Then I can start doing some rewards, right? Like increased energy or increased health. I can start having attacks consume energy. I can start having the players get damaged by enemies and all that stuff. So yeah, there's that's kind of like a foundational piece. Why is this lowercase? Okay. Close all tabs. Close all. Rename this. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, it didn't recognize the name change. Rename. There we go. Okay. Basic player UI. All right. Well, that is that's a good stopping point for now. So yeah, I'm gonna be spending this afternoon. Just working some more on that stuff, getting resources and whatnot in place. I gotta do attacks and what. There's a lot of stuff to architect with this game. Like a lot of. How am I going to build an ability system? How am I going to build the weapon randomization system? How am I going to handle different weapon attacks and animations and stuff? It's going to be quite a bit of work, but I think as long as I get the systems in place and I get the game feeling good, it should be relatively straightforward. So anyway, that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all especially, or not especially, I keep saying especially. Thank you all to the lurkers and the VOD watchers out there. I know you're out there, and I know you're liking these, so appreciate it. If you want to support my work, first and foremost, you can purchase Gunforged on Steam. The link for that is in the description below. I also have Udemy courses available for sale. You can purchase those if you want to learn how to build a game in the Godot engine. And if you just want to support my YouTube channel, you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch all of my other videos, all that good stuff. So anyway, that's it again. I've become a lurker. You have. You have indeed. Thank you, Dusty. You have a good day as well. So thanks again, everyone. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. for tomorrow's stream. All right. Bye-bye.